when I was in that tailoring store and the lady just refused to tell me the price. She was like,
don't worry about the price. I will do a good deal for you.
Every time I asked, I'm like, sister, don't worry about taking my measurements. I just want to know if I can afford it. Again, she's like,
don't worry. I do good price for you. Don't worry. You just look what you want.
Like, she literally was like this. And I can't tell you like how frustrating that was for me at the time. I mean, you probably have been in this situation before as well. And historically with money, clothing was just always something that was viewed as a luxury. And so when I would hear of people getting tailored this and designer that, I would be like, well, good for you, but I'm never gonna have that privilege. The indecision was not coming from her pushing her agenda and me being like, oh, I don't really want this, she's making me buy it. Or it wasn't coming from the fact that I didn't have money. What it was coming down to, and I was realizing this as I was crying to my partner, was that I had never let myself desire what I wanted. I just revert to, no, it can't be that easy for me to have this. You know, it can't be that easy for me to be able to go on a holiday. It has to be complicated. It has to be stressful. It has to come with a lot of strings attached, because that's the world and paradigm I'm so used to living in. But what if I could also expand my belief that going on a trip or buying myself the suit that I've always wanted, or a custom designer thing, like these crazy lunatic things that I desire that I've never said out loud or really taken seriously, what if I could allow them to exist and to be real possibilities? Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nicole, a life and business coach for high-functioning women. I'm a self-proclaimed foodie, content creator, educator, and your new abundance bestie. In my world, we talk about all things to do with elevating your life. I post weekly videos helping the everyday woman embody her highest self, create inner wealth, master her mindset, unlock her femininity, and be an absolute boss in life. I create resources, trainings, and host experiences online and in person in order to help you reconnect to your true self. Not the one you think you need to be, but the you that you were born to be. So you can reclaim your power and amplify your voice to lead, love, and create as a woman. If you like my vibe and you want a little bit more abundance in your life, hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new episode. And be sure to check out the free resources in the description below. Today, I thought I would finally share with you the story behind the blazer set that I bought in Vietnam. So for context, I recently went on a Southeast Asia sort of surrender experiment trip to find myself and to just go with the flow. And I uncovered so much about myself and found that there were so many things that I had sort of neglected or buried down about myself. And that trip really did heal me. It allowed me to see myself and my world in a completely different way. And it rejuvenated me. It gave me a new fire for life and a zeal for the work I do. And definitely would recommend doing a surrender experiment trip yourself. And if you are interested in doing one but have no idea where to start or what it even looks like, check out the resources that I have linked in the description below, and you can find my newly released surrender experiment experience package. And this is something that I've created. It's very, very near and dear to my heart. It was created as an overflow and a byproduct of me having this experience myself and living through it. And I just wanted to give this experience to everybody I know. And of course, if you're somebody who is coming across this page, this video, this podcast, at this point in time, you have created this yourself. You have attracted this information to you and this opportunity to you as well. So if you're interested, check out the details in the description of this episode and go and explore and have fun. But anyway, I thought I would finally share with you the story that I keep mentioning in my content about how I purchased unintentionally, unplanned, a suit, a pantsuit that changed my life forever. Now, I do have a video of the speech or the talk that I delivered at a women's event called Generation Women's, where I share the actual story in depth. And if you're interested to check it out, I will link it in the description as well below because it's pretty funny. I have to say, my talking, delivering skills are getting there. So for those of you listening though, for quick context, Vietnam, if you didn't know, Hoi An is a town where they are famous or well known. Wait, is it Hoi An or is it Hanoi? I always get this wrong. Anyway, you guys might not know this, but this town is known for the world's best and most oldest, most established tailoring stores. So if you go to this town, you'll see all the streets lined up with shop after shop after shop with people who have tailoring businesses. They make suits, they make dresses, they make everything under the sun. And I didn't know this going to this village, but I realized when I got there that it was like a thing to do. It was like a tourist thing to do, to go get a suit made or to get a dress made just for the experience of being here. And my partner mentioned that he wanted to get a suit. And so I ended up going into the store with him, and again, you can watch the video where I story tell the whole experience. It's so funny. And I ended up also getting a suit without planning for it. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this story and why it's so significant is because it is deeply connected to my view of what I valued as worthy and to the experience that I have had historically with money and pleasure. And getting this suit was all sorts of emotions. It was like a roller coaster ride, because what I shared in the story was how I had so much discomfort around the process of being sold this beautiful suit, this beautiful beige suit. The process of being sold this suit was very, very uncomfortable. And I think at first I attributed the discomfort to the fact that this Vietnamese lady was basically pushing her agenda. It seemed like she just wanted to make a sale, until I realized that she was a really genuine lady, and she's just culturally, we just have different words, mannerisms that can make her seem a little bit more aggressive than she actually is. So anyway, I basically went in with my partner, and out of curiosity, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what it would look like to have a suit. And in my mind, I'm sort of used to viewing everything through a lens of how much is it. So I decide whether I can afford it or whether I want it based on whether the price matches how much money I have available. And most of the time when I go shopping, when I eat out, the lens through which I look at everything is through price tags. And I never noticed this until I increased my money awareness and the relationship I have with money. And so obviously, out of just pure reflex, we were walking past this store and I saw this beautiful gold and green dress that looked like something from the movie Crazy Rich Asians. And I was like, I'm curious, how much is this dress? So I literally popped my head in and I asked, how much is this dress? And then lo and behold, 5 minutes later, we're sitting down and we're going through suits and designs for suits. So I actually ended up getting that dress. It was all part of this whole experience. But that dress was the activator of a whole series of unraveling events that helped me to rediscover my own personal worth and to redefine what the role of money is in my life. Because at that moment, when I was in that tailoring store and the lady just refused to tell me the price, she was like,
don't worry about the price. I will do a good deal for you.
Every time I asked, I'm like, sister, don't worry about taking my measurements. I just want to know if I can afford it. Again, she's like,
don't worry. I do good price for you. Don't worry. You just look what you want.
She literally was like this. And I can't tell you how frustrating that was for me at the time. I mean, you probably have been in this situation before as well. You just want to know the price, right? And it's such an innocent question. You just want to know the price. But I am so glad she didn't tell me the price, because if she had told me the price, I would have said no and walked away from an entire opportunity to change my life and my relationship to myself. So this lady, in her innocence of just doing what she does, doing it the way she does when she acquires clients off the street, served me. And I'm about to tell you in what ways. So I essentially agreed I was going to get this suit, and she did my measurements. She started to like go through a Pinterest board, and she was like,
Which style do you want? What material? What fabric?
and for me, this was a really foreign experience. Like, you have to understand, I am not a person who gets anything tailor made. I'm not a person who even spends more than $50 on a single t shirt or item of clothing. I find it uncomfortable to even spend $30. So, this is my history. And historically, with money, clothing was just always something that was viewed as a luxury. And so, when I would hear of people getting tailored this and designer that, I would be like, well, good for you, but I'm never going to have that privilege. And so I think unconsciously, I have distanced myself from being able to access, have, experience, and even want nice, expensive, luxurious, tailor fit things. But deep down, I think what I was experiencing in that moment was a lot of friction and resistance, because she was asking me, what do you like? Forget about the money. What do you want? And just choose. And as I was kind of flicking through the Pinterest boards and I was looking at the suits in the store, I had all this internal conflict, because a part of me really seriously wanted this. But the other part of me was like,
You don't have money for this. You can't afford this. This is a waste.
right? And it would be kind of this dialogue where money had the final say. And I picked up on that because I've been growing my awareness of the dialogues, the beliefs that I have about myself that I'm kind of tying myself to. I was like, damn, like if I'm gonna get this suit, I'm gonna really need to get it. And I'm gonna really need to lean into this decision to invest in something that I never would have otherwise let myself have. I'm going to let it be a transformative moment. So when she finally did tell me the price of the suit, and I got myself to a place where I gave her a vision of what I wanted the suit to look like, and I felt excited by that. She then told me the price, and everything in me was screaming, hell no, that is way too expensive. Like, no. I was lost for words. I was inside. I was devastated that I couldn't have this suit, or so I told myself. And I just told her, like, I can't, there's no way, I don't have the money. And so through, traditional Asian fashion, we were bartering, and we ended up getting it to a price which was still severely uncomfortable for me, because I still had one more month left on my Asia trip and very little money. But I was like, look, I'm going to think about it. And the fact that I need to think about it may be a good sign. So I said yes to the dress that initially attracted me to that store, but I said maybe to the suit that I deep down really wanted, but I didn't give myself permission to want it enough that I would spend that amount of money on it. Let me tell you some of the thoughts that were running through my head at the time. It was, you didn't plan to spend this money. That would be a waste. You would regret it. What do you even need a suit for? You can just get a cheaper one. You can, why don't you just go and buy one when you're at home once you have more money and more stability, and, it's an easy fix, right? And these suggestions that my brain was making they were innocent. They were coming from a place of wanting to help me. But here's the kicker. Sometimes that wanting to help you is also coming from an uninformed place. Meaning the perspective that advice is coming from is historical. It's come from the history of understanding this is how money is created in our life. This is what we feel good about. This is what we feel bad about. This is how we spend money. This is not how we spend money. So this experience comes from those thoughts, but it doesn't come from the possibility that it's never known. The advice you give yourself cannot possibly come from the future. It cannot come from, like a trusting and a knowing of what else is possible, because the brain, it's going to go to what's logical, to what's safe. And so I caught myself in that moment saying these things to myself and unconsciously and comfortably believing that,
yeah, that's true, it would be a waste of money, or yeah, I didn't plan on spending this, so it's not worth it.
Instead of being in my body and being in my feminine and letting myself feel what I was feeling in that moment. And the good thing was I stopped and slowed down long enough to really feel through that decision. And I'm so glad I did. And it taught me, just that experience alone taught me how important it is to tune into my body when it comes to making decisions. So I slowed down, I had a mental breakdown, I had an emotional crying fit in front of Jose, my partner, and I was saying, as it was hitting me, all this resistance about paying that amount of money for this suit that I deep down really wanted, but I couldn't admit that I did, was not coming from the pressure of that lady. The indecision was not coming from her pushing her agenda and me being like, oh, I don't really want this, she's making me buy it. Or it wasn't coming from the fact that I didn't have money. What it was coming down to, and I was realizing this as I was crying to my partner, was that I had never let myself desire what I wanted in whatever category, however luxurious it is, however, fancy and left field it is from what I've always known. I've never let myself desire something purely for what it is and to give myself permission to have it and to let my money support it. I'd never done so to this extent where it would cost me a certain number that I had never paid before. Because, up to this point, I've expanded my threshold to pay X amount of money for a trip or a hotel. And I've exceeded and pushed my personal limits of what I'm willing to allow money to do for me. However, I'd never done it for the aspect of clothing and the aspect of self-expression through fashion. Because I think deep down, if I'm being honest with myself, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved nice fitting things. And I love the idea of luxury and luxury brands. And, materialism aside, I think I really recognized in that moment that I had for so long lived in a world of suppression where the amount of money I had available to me was only filtered through the decisions and the judgments of my parents and what they valued. They didn't value dressing nice or feeling good in your clothes. And so I didn't value those things because that's what I was taught. And if you guys didn't know this, I used to just shop at thrift stores and I would only shop at sales racks. And to this day, I see these behaviors coming through. Every time I go into a store, I don't let myself look at what the mannequins are wearing, look at what's on the other racks, the display racks, and to appreciate it, to ask myself if I like it, whether I would wear it. I don't even give myself that option because I'm like,
it's too expensive for me. Go straight to the sales rack.
I know you get me, right? And so this is what's been really, really interesting. And this is what was also the most liberating part about the experience of buying this suit. This suit changed my life. It changed my perspective about what I was worthy of receiving and giving to myself. See, this suit was, as much as it was like quadruple what I expected it to be, the shock value for me in this whole experience wasn't that I eventually found the money and decided that I was worthy enough to pay, but it was the experience of realizing, like just being hit with the awareness that how much of life have I been missing out on because I have not been giving myself the permission to want what I truly want. I've been like censoring my wants and needs and desires based on filtering them through the lens of whether I think I have enough money. And so many of us are used to doing this, where our decisions come from how much money we have in the bank rather than how fulfilled it will make us to have. Because in reality, in the real world, nobody teaches us how to live life led by our values and what fulfills us. Because
That's not measurable. That's not scalable. That's not quantifiable.
But that's purely masculine lens of looking at things. If you were to take a feminine lens of looking at things, and remember, feminine and masculine coexist, they're not supposed to be out of balance. If we were to adapt to a feminine expression or feminine view of this same experience, we would find that, hey, what if the fact that you feel good in your clothes allows you to show up to your meetings like a boss? Or show up for your clients like at 10x more confidence and clarity? What if you feeling good allows you to finally break the season of singleness because you showed up in a cafe because you felt good and you talked to a man who like totally saw that and was like, wow, this girl is incredible and she's so confident, simply because you chose to buy the thing that you wanted to buy and to give yourself the permission to wear it. I know it sounds unconventional, and I know it sounds like
You can't plan that. That's just very like choppy and changey and fluid.
That's the point. Feminine is not like predictable where you can be like, if I do X and Y, then Z will be created. It's not like that. But that's what makes it a feminine expression. Because when you have these two polarities working together and you allow yourself to play in the structural masculine and logical and hypothesizing and be in the doing, and you let yourself be in the existing, receiving, enjoying, being in awe, wonder, creativity. If you let these two polarities come out to play, you will find that things create themselves in your life, results, progress, solutions, money. These things are created, but they're done in a really authentic and aligned and effortless way. But there's no formula for it. There's no formula for how much balance you need to have between your masculine and feminine, because every day, every moment, it's going to be changing, and it's going to be changing according to you. So what does this mean, and why is this connected to the whole suit situation I'm talking about? Well, essentially, what happened for me after giving myself the permission, after tapping into my feminine, sitting into my body, asking myself what it was needing in this moment, what it was trying to tell me, I uncovered that there were feminine wounds. There were wounds of allowing myself to desire and want and to be accommodated for, to feel peace and to feel comfort. I had suppressed all these things because growing up, I had seen my parents neglect their own pleasure. They would never give themselves the nicer things, even if they could afford it. And I see it today. My mom is extremely successful in her work. She makes lots of money. And even then, right, there are a lot of things that she doesn't get to enjoy. And look, this awareness of your feminine, of your body, and awareness of what your body might be trying to tell you is a very easy way to stay on the course of where you need to be. And I think that buying myself this suit was really about permission. It was about the conversation with myself that I finally got to have about what I believed I was worthy of having, let alone worthy of desiring. And I realized that there is so much that I just revert to, no, it can't be that easy for me to have this. You know, it can't be that easy for me to be able to go on a holiday. It has to be complicated. It has to be stressful. It has to come with a lot of strings attached, because that's the world and paradigm I'm so used to living in. But what if I could also expand my belief that going on a trip or buying myself the suit that I've always wanted, or a custom designer thing, like these crazy lunatic things that I desire that I've never said out loud or really taken seriously, what if I could allow them to exist and to be real possibilities? And so I remember as my suit was getting fitted on the last day when we picked it up, I was emotional AF. I was teary. I was in my feels because it was standing there in front of the mirror in like this Vietnamese tailoring store on like a hot as summer's day while getting it fitted on me was just this moment where it kind of came as images in my mind of me speaking on a stage, me being in front of women from all over the world, me sharing the story about the suit, me feeling so boss in that suit. Like I had all these images, sensations kind of just fall over me, and I was overwhelmed with so much peace and joy. And what it was this sensation of like alignment. I was acting and living in alignment, because what it showed me as well, when I was able to come up with the money, I moved money around, I took out of my savings, like just to pay for this suit. That didn't feel bad. In my logical, in my scarce self, it felt bad. Like there was that feeling of letting go of the money, but then like it was such a small smidgen, because what overrode it was my true authentic self and what I value. And I realized that like I didn't actually value the money more. What I valued more was this experience, and it was worth paying that amount of money to have this experience any day. And when that worthiness really landed for me, like this is worth it, that was the moment where I was like, money gets to support me Money gets to fund what lights me up and what brings meaning to my life. Money is not the value that I'm here to support. Money is a resource, and what meaning I ascribe to money is what gives it its value. And so after I had this experience, not long after, you know what happened? I freaking got invited to speak on a stage where I then got to wear that damn suit like a boss and completely set an entirely new narrative in my life around money, around worthiness, and around manifesting, calling in opportunities by acting courageously. These sequence of events that unfolded as a result of me having been so aligned and so connected through that decision-making process. And the fact that I didn't let money have the final say, or I didn't let money be the thing that I value, but I went back to, at my core, what is this life about? What do I want it to be about? What do I want to experience? That's what allowed me to make an aligned decision that served me and what I'm here to do and who I'm here to be. So, moral of the story, you guys, like, it's not about the suit. It's not about the car. It's not about the house or the business or the income. At the end of the day, like, we have a depth. We have two dimensions to us as human beings. We've got the physical aspect, and then we've got the spiritual. We've got the soul. And there is a soul deep inside you that wants to come out. It wants to be seen. It wants to be heard. The question is, are you listening? Do you create enough space, or do you shut it down right away? When you evaluate whether you should or shouldn't do something, what lens do you look at it through? Do you look at it through the lens of, do you have enough money, or how can I find the money to support it? These are the kind of quality of questions that you want to be elevating into, instead of processing and seeing and perceiving the world in the way that you always have. The lens is allowed to change, because as you change, your life will change, you will expand, and your values will evolve. And so if you're not keeping up with that change, and you're looking at life through this lens of scarcity that you say you don't want, but you haven't checked in on it, it is going to bite you in the butt later, okay? And that's why I want to share this message with you. I hope that my suit and my journey towards stepping into that suit, accessing that suit, and giving myself finally the permission to have nice things and to want nice things and to be deserving of nice things. I hope this inspires you in all the right ways to step towards your desires, to give yourself a little more room to say what you want and to feel that you really want it, and to believe that you are deserving of it in this life. If you don't take that step, nobody's gonna do it for you. So I want you to be brave today and to ask yourself, what do I really want? And maybe it's a clue for how I can give to myself something that my soul is really deeply seeking. And again, it wasn't about the suit. It's never about the suit. It's never about the car, the income goal, the bracket that you want to reach. It's about what it means to you. And for me, my soul was trying to tell me inside of that whole journey that she wanted to be worthy. She wanted me to see her for who she is, to validate her desires for what they are, and to access those things without restriction, without being told, no,
We can't afford it.
no. Rather, it's like, you want that? Okay, let's go find a way to make it. Right? Like, imagine yourself as a child and you parenting your own child. If you are so used to being shut down or told that you can't, or we can't afford it, like, that is a mentality. That is a state of being and a way of living life. And so many of us had that experience in childhood, and we've brought that into our adulthood, believing that we can't. But you get to rewrite that story, and it gets to start today. So my lovelies, if this in any way helped you, connected to you, or encouraged you, I hope that you act on that. I hope that you reach out to me, send me a message on my socials, or that you reach out and inquire about my coaching and mentoring. At the end of the day, this isn't about me. This is about you, your growth, and your elevation. And I want to support you in that. And that's why I've created a wealth of resources, a wealth of opportunities for you to find what the right fit is for you, and to step into this next level, abundant and fulfilled version of yourself. because that version of yourself is the one that's going to set a fire in this world that nobody can ever replicate. And it is my mission to help you embody and step into that version of you. So please reach out. And lastly, don't forget the Money Mindset Workshop is coming out in July 31st. If it is after July 31st that you're hearing this episode, know that you can still download, still join. It is evergreen and forever accessible. So if you are curious about elevating your money mindset, your experience, and your relationship to money, or you just want to know where to start, just like me when I shared this story of awareness, maybe you're just coming to know that you have money stories that are not serving you and you don't know where to start, reach out, sign up for that workshop. The details will be in the description below. And all you need to do is pop your first name and your email address, and the webinar is yours for life. So get on that, and thank you for joining me in this week's video and episode. I will catch you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.
If you want to take your abundance to another level, I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades. Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.